The ER boss cut off her route with his chart holder. "You're walking funny, Martinez. Stick to screening." She gave a quick nod, backed up, kept quiet. They had no clue what the hitch in her step really meant. They couldn't possibly know. That's when the glass started shaking. 4 Navy choppers dropped onto the medical center rooftop. No warning, no heads up. The lead flyer's words buzzed through every intercom in the place. "We gotta have Guardian 9 right now." The boss went white as a sheet. "Guardian 9? That ain't. There's nobody around here called that." A Navy commander hopped off the lead bird. Battle gear, ribbons, crimson on his clothes. His stare drilling into her. "Lieutenant Martinez, we got 8 dying and a congressman hemorrhaging at 30,000 feet. You're the single doc who can handle surgery mid-flight." The boss's chart holder hit the tiles. She was already hauling ass. The ER boss cut off her route with his chart holder. "You're walking funny, Martinez. Stick to screening." She gave a quick nod, backed up, kept quiet. They had no clue what the hitch in her step really meant. They couldn't possibly know. That's when the glass started shaking. 4 Navy choppers dropped onto the medical center rooftop. No warning, no heads up. The lead flyer's words buzzed through every intercom in the place. "We gotta have Guardian 9 right now." The boss went white as a sheet. "Guardian 9? That ain't. There's nobody around here called that." A Navy commander hopped off the lead bird. Battle gear, awards, crimson on his clothes, his stare drilling into her. "Lieutenant Martinez, we got 8 dying and a congressman hemorrhaging at 30,000 feet. You're the single doc who can handle surgery mid-flight." The boss's chart holder hit the tiles. She was already hauling ass. Jackson bounced back quickest. He planted himself between Martinez and the Navy guys, his mug all flushed, his power questioned right in front of his whole crew. His palms shot up like he was directing traffic. "Hold on, just hold on one goddamn second." The commander didn't even peek at him. Jackson's tone went up a notch. "There's been some screw-up. She's a ward nurse. She can hardly manage her rotation with that bum leg. Just look at her." The EZAR crew had gathered in a half-moon behind Jackson, gawking, muttering. Martinez could sense their stares on her hobble, on her worn scrubs, on everything she'd busted her butt to keep hidden. Sympathy mixed with bewilderment on their mugs. The commander's comm gadget beeped once, twice, pressing and loud. He finally glanced at Jackson, the sort of glance that could strip varnish. "I don't give a damn what she does now. I give a damn what she did before," Jackson stammered. "She ain't qualified for..." The gadget beeped once more. The commander pressed it to his ear. Listened, his jaw clenched tight. Congressman's BP tanking. 90 over 60 and dropping. 3 Navy guys flatlining. "We gotta get her airborne in 5 minutes, or we start burying them." He swung back to Martinez. His words sliced through the mayhem like a blade. Campaign jet had a mechanical failure at cruising height. Emergency touchdown try went sideways. 8 Navy personnel with massive gut trauma. Congressman caught metal fragments to the chest area. The jet can't touch down for 90 minutes. Weather patterns across 3 regions. Jackson actually chuckled. A sharp, unbelieving noise. "You're discussing performing operations in a pressure-compromised aircraft in motion during a tempest. That's nuts. Nobody can..." "We gotta have somebody who's cracked chests in a flying tin can before." The commander's stare never budged from Martinez. Jackson shook his skull. "That's unthinkable. No civilian doc has that instruction. You gotta have military." "She ain't civilian." The statement hung there. Martinez felt something split inside her ribcage, something she'd kept carefully locked up for 3 years. The mutters behind her got louder. Jackson's mug ran through confusion, shock, fury. Her palms were rock steady at her sides, in spite of everything. In spite of the flashbacks clawing their route up her windpipe. Muscle memory, don't forget, no matter how hard you attempt to bury it. The commander took one stride nearer to her. Only her. His tone lowered. "Corpsman Davis is on that jet. Your squad medic from Helmand." The ground tilted. Davis. The word slipped out before she could catch it. Just his handle. Just that one sound that carried 4 years of shared hell, of unthinkable saves, of blood-drenched sand and the wailing of blades overhead. Jackson grabbed her forearm. "This is bonkers. She can't even..." Martinez stared at him, truly stared at him, at his spotless white jacket, his clean palms, his cozy certainty that he grasped anything about what was doable. "Get me a satellite phone connection to that aircraft, right now." Her tone was altered, tougher. The tone she'd stashed away along with her uniform. Jackson's grip dropped away. She spun toward the staircase that went to the rooftop. Her hobble was obvious. It always was when the rush kicked in. Every stride a reminder of the previous time she'd made calls like this. Two Navy guys shifted to bracket her. Young, polite, providing help without words. She didn't take it. Jackson hollered after her, his tone bouncing up the cement staircase. "You ain't got clearance here no more for surgical." As she didn't spin around, "I got clearance where it matters." 23 steps to the rooftop. She tallied everyone a call, everyone a flashback. Step 7, Helmand. First chest crack under rocket fire. Step 12. Williams, 19 winters old, gone because she approved him for transport. Step 18, the chopper wreck. Her leg mangled, her profession terminated. Step 23. Right now, today. Davis dying at 30,000 feet. The rooftop entry door exploded open. Breeze hammered into her like a brick wall. The chopper blades were ear-splitting, a noise that existed in her bad dreams that she heard every damn time she shut her lids. The commander was next to her, yelling over the racket. He held out a flight jumpsuit. "It'll be just like the old days, Lieutenant." She grabbed the jumpsuit, started yanking it on over her scrubs. The material felt like a duplicate skin, like betrayal, like returning to a residence that had gone up in flames. She locked eyes with him. "Nothing's like the old days, Commander." But she zipped the jumpsuit regardless. The chopper was idling, blades whirling, hatch open, a crew leader reaching out his mitt to yank her aboard. Behind her, through the rooftop entry, she could spot Jackson and half the ER crew jamming the staircase, gawking, still not grasping. Martinez seized the crew leader's mitt. The chopper lifted before she'd even buckled in. Below, the medical center shrank away. The metro spread out in tidy blocks of illumination and vehicles. Systematic, foreseeable, secure, everything she was ditching behind. The commander passed her a headset. His words came through sharp despite the rotor racket. 87 minutes till that jet can touch down. Congressman's got a penetrating chest injury. 3 Navy guys with collapsed lungs. 2 with open fractures and gut bleeding. 1 non-responsive. And Davis. He stopped. Davis has got a chunk of the dashboard through his chest area. Straight through. We ain't sure what it's nicked. He's awake, holding on for now. But if that dashboard moves... Martinez's palms had already begun shifting, inspecting the medical pack mounted on the chopper bulkhead. Catalog by feel. Blades, clamps, thread, chest drains. Not sufficient, never sufficient, but it would have to work. The commander observed her work. When she glanced up, something like relief had swept his mug. "Welcome back, Guardian 9. Martinez turned to the glass. The illumination below were vanishing. Ahead only blackness and storm formations. She wasn't back. She'd never be back, but Davis was dying, and that was the single thing that counted. The chopper banked hard, hunting coordinates in the void, hunting a jet packed with folks who required somebody willing to attempt the unthinkable. Martinez shut her lids. Her palms recalled what her ticker had attempted to erase. Time to discover if that was sufficient. The midair handoff took 47 ticks. Martinez didn't think about the space between the chopper and the jet's emergency opening. Didn't think about the rough air or the wind sear or the 1,000 feet of vacant sky beneath her boots. She just shifted. The jet's guts hit her like a punch. Crimson on the bulkheads, crimson on the overhead, the heavy copper stink of it blending with aviation fuel and dread. Emergency illumination threw everything in nauseating scarlet. The cabin had been ripped apart for the emergency touchdown try. Chairs torn out, medical gear scattered across the deck, and bodies, 8 Navy personnel in different phases of broken. Martinez's evaluation was automatic, clinical. 3 with collapsed lungs, chests squeezed, breathing strained. 2 with visible open fractures, bone through flesh, femurs, shin bones. 1 non-responsive, pupils dilated, and Davis. Davis with a chunk of the dashboard through his chest area, 2 feet of ragged metal, entry spot below the left shoulder blade. Exit somewhere near the backbone. He was propped upright, wedged against the bulkhead, awake. His mug was ashen. An Air Force medic stumbled toward her. Namestrip read Wilson. His palms were trembling. Crimson soaked his uniform. Not his crimson.
I can't. They claimed you could.
Martinez didn't reply. She was already shifting, already figuring, sorting priority established in 10 ticks. Davis first. He's got maybe 12 minutes before the dashboard moves and cuts his main artery. Then the collapsed lung cases. Then the open fractures. The non-responsive Navy guy was already finished. She knew it. Wilson knew it, but neither of them voiced it. She crouched beside Davis. His stare found hers. Recognition. Relief. Something else she couldn't label.
"Hey, Lieutenant." His tone was barely audible.
Don't speak.
She evaluated the dashboard. Entry angle. Depth. The metal was jammed between his third and fourth ribs. Miracle, it hadn't struck the main artery. Miracle, it hadn't flattened the lung. Miracle, he was still breathing. But miracles ran dry. Wilson passed her tools without being prompted. His palms steadied the instant she took command. Instruction kicking in. The jet lurched. Rough air every 40 ticks. She clocked it, tallied between the jolts, worked in the stable instants. The surgical zone was makeshift. 2 chairs yanked together, emergency lamps for illumination, oxygen masks dangling loose from overhead compartments, pressure swings making her ears ache. This wasn't a medical center. This was mayhem held together by aluminum and hope. Martinez's palms shifted. Exact, figured, flawless. Wilson observed her prep the removal spot, observed her tag the vessels with a surgical marker, observed her arrange the suction and clamps in flawless order. How are you pulling this off? Between the ribs approach, dodge the vessels, manage the bleed before removal. She didn't glance up, didn't need to. Her digits knew the body better than any textbook, better than any scan. She'd pulled this off 47 times before. Clamp. Wilson passed it over. Suction. The crimson cleared. She could spot the dashboard edge now, spot exactly what it was touching. Main artery right there, 1 millimeter away. Don't breathe. She wasn't certain if she was talking to Wilson or herself. The jet lurched once more. Her palm didn't shift. Rock steady despite the rough air, despite the flashbacks, despite everything. Dashboard removal in one smooth shift. Crimson welled up. She was ready. Clamp in spot before the first drop spilled, suction clearing the zone. Pressure applied exactly where it had to be. Pressure. Hold, hold. Wilson tallied ticks under his breath. Martinez didn't tally. She just held Davis's vitals on the portable screen. Pulse climbing, BP tanking, then holding. Climbing back, the bleeding quit. He's holding. 11 minutes, 43 ticks. Davis's lids fluttered open. Found her mug. The edge of his mouth twitched, almost a grin. Guardian 9, you returned. Martinez spun away, shifted to the next case. The second Navy guy had collapsed lung. Right side, chest squeezed, windpipe pushed over. Classic presentation. She required a chest drain, required it 5 minutes back. Wilson had the pack ready. Martinez prepped the insertion spot. 5th rib space, mid-side line. She could pull this off blind, had pulled it off blind. In dust storms, in the pitch black, under rocket fire. Afghanistan. The flashback struck without warning. Forward operating station. She was the single trauma doc for 200 miles. They labeled her Guardian 9. Not because she was angelic, because during one rocket barrage, she'd operated on 6 cases at once. Sorted, prioritized, rescued all 6. 47 chest cracks under hostile fire. 47 rescues. Her palms shifted on autopilot. Chest drain insertion. The hiss of released pressure. The Navy guy's breathing eased right away. Until number 48. Williams, 19 winters old. Baby mug, roadside bomb trauma, metal fragments through the chest and gut. She'd worked on him for 3 hours, stabilized him, thought she'd rescued him, approved him for transport, put him on the chopper with 3 others, all holding, all rescued. The chopper caught fire 2 minutes after liftoff. Wrecked. Williams died. All 4 of them died. Martinez had been on that chopper, supervising the handoffs, making certain her case stayed holding. Her leg got mangled when they went down. Pinned under the wreckage, 2 operations, lifelong hobble, lifelong reminder.
I put them on that bird. I approved them for transport. I murdered them.
She returned stateside 6 months later, took a ward spot, hid. The jet bucked hard, gear scattered. Martinez snagged the surgical tray before it struck the deck, shifted to the 3rd collapsed lung case, inserted another chest drain. Textbook flawless. Wilson was gawking at her with something like wonder. Then the screen wailed. The 4th Navy guy, cardiac compression, fluid around the ticker, requires emergency needle drainage, right now. But the congressman, Martinez spun. The congressman had been holding metal fragment injury, bandaged and stuffed, breathing steady. Not no more. His BP was tanking quick, massive gut bleeding, busted organ. Wilson stared at her, then at the 2 dying cases. His mug went white. We can't handle both. You gotta pick. The jet struck severe rough air, hard enough to hurl Wilson against the bulkhead. Gear scattered once more. 60 minutes till touchdown. 2 cases dying at once. This is Helmand all over once more. Pick who survives, pick who dies. Williams staring at her with lifeless stare. the chopper burning, her legs wailing, the call she'd made, the call that murdered them. Lieutenant Davis's tone, weak but rock steady. She spun. He was propped up, color returning to his mug. His stare was sharp. You instructed me. I can handle the needle drainage. Martinez stared at him, at the opening in his chest, at the crimson still seeping through the bandages, at the resolve on his mug that she recognized because she'd planted it there, winters back in the sand, instructing him to rescue lives when everything was collapsing. She made the call. Guide me through it while I operate on the congressman. We handle them both. Wilson gawked at her like she'd lost her skull. Davis just gave a nod. Martinez shifted to the congressman, blade already in palm. Davis's tone came from across the cabin, rock steady, reciting the phases she'd instructed him. Below the ribcage approach, needle at 45 degrees. She made the first slice. I'll sense resistance at the sac. Crimson welled. She clamped, suctioned, found the organ, busted completely, had to come out. Drain slowly. Watch for crimson. Her palms. Worked. Quick, exact, no wasted shift. Davis's tone never wavered. The screen quit wailing. Got it. BP balancing. Martinez tied off the final vessel, removed the organ, stuffed the cavity. The congressman's BP climbed. Both cases holding, both breathing. She glanced across the cabin at Davis. He was white, shaking, but grinning. Just like you instructed me, Lieutenant. Martinez's palms were coated in crimson, but they weren't shaking, not even a little. The double rescue was like directing a band in a hurricane. Martinez's tones sliced through the mayhem. Calm, exact, commanding. She coached Davis through the needle drainage, while her own palms worked on the congressman's gut. 2 operations, 2 cases, 1 shot. Needle at the ribcage edge, 45-degree angle. Her palms shifted through the organ removal, gut opening in rough conditions. The jet bucked every 40 ticks like clockwork. She worked between the lurches, clamped vessels during the stable instance, tied off bleeders with muscle memory that ran deeper than thought. You'll sense the resistance. Push through. Davis's breathing was strained. She could hear it across the cabin, hear him battling through the agony, through the shock. But his tone stayed rock steady when he replied. Sensed it, going through right now. Martinez's digits found the main artery. Clamped, the bleeding slowed. She worked quicker. The organ was completely busted. Unsalvageable, had to come out. Drain slowly. Tell me when you spot crimson. The jet dropped, 20 feet in half a tick. Gear rattled. Wilson seized the overhead rail. Martinez's palms never shifted. Rock steady, locked in spot. The vessel clamp held. Got crimson, straw-tinted? That's the sac fluid, correct?
Correct. Keep draining. Watch the BP on the screen.
She removed the congressman's organ. 8 minutes start to finish. Textbook. Better than textbook. She stuffed the cavity. Inspected for more bleeding. Clean. Wilson stood between both surgical spots, gawking. His mug ran through shock and wonder. He'd been an Air Force doc for 12 winters. He'd spotted combat medicine, spotted field medical centers, spotted stuff that would shatter most folks. He'd never spotted this.
BP balancing. It's working.
Martinez tied the final stitch on the congressman, inspected his vitals. BP climbing, pulse steadying, breathing normal. Good. Dress the insertion spot. Screen him for the next 10 minutes. Both cases stabilized, within ticks of each other. The congressman opened his lids. Confused, disoriented, breathing, Davis slumped back against the bulkhead. Exhausted, triumphant. 41 minutes to touchdown. Wilson finally found his tone. He stared at Martinez like she was something from a legend, something that shouldn't exist in the actual world. She's the reason half my squad survived. Davis's tone was quiet. Helmand Province, 2019, we got ambushed, 12 wounded. She operated for 16 hours straight. No pauses, no backup, just her. She's the reason I became a medic, wanted to be like her. Wilson spun to Martinez. I've been an Air Force doc for 12 winters. I've never spotted anybody work like that. Martinez didn't reply. She was inspecting the other Navy guys, stabilizing the open fractures, making certain the chest drains were secure, pulling off the work that didn't require miracles. Just skill. The radio buzzed. A tone she recognized. Jackson. He'd been listening via satellite connection the whole time, hearing everything. Martinez. How long were you? His tone was rattled. All the power stripped away. Just shock. Just the realization of how badly he'd misjudged. Martinez kept working, didn't glance up. 12 winters active rotation, 4 deployments. I didn't figure it counted no more. The commander's tone came through. Quiet, certain. It always counted, Lieutenant.
20 minutes to touchdown. Everybody holding. Everybody breathing.
Martinez allowed herself 1 instant, 1 breath, 1 tick to sense the burden lift. Then the 5th Navy guy started convulsing, the one who'd been holding, the one she'd sorted as low priority. Open fracture, no gut bleeding. He'd been propped quietly, waiting his rotation. Right now, his body was rigid, jerking, lids rolled back. Wilson was there in ticks. Air bubble from the pressure swings. The height. The fracture must have introduced air into his bloodstream. Critical window, gotta be fixed before touchdown or brain harm, is lifelong. No proper gear, no pressure chamber, no route to force the air bubbles out of his circulation conventionally. Jackson's tone over the radio, panicked right now. Martinez, you can't, there's no route to... She sliced him off. Quit telling me what I can't pull off. She seized Wilson, positioned him at the Navy guy's skull. Modified head down spot. Skull down, feet raised. Force the air bubbles away from the brain. Give them time to dissolve. But it wouldn't be sufficient. She glanced around the cabin. Emergency oxygen, high output. She cranked it to maximum, placed the mask over the Navy guy's mug, makeshift pressure chamber technique, flood his circulation with oxygen, force the nitrogen bubbles to contract. Wilson gawked at her. This is textbook trauma innovation. Where'd you learn this?
There ain't no textbook for this. You make it up and hope it works.
The Navy guy's convulsing slowed, quit, his lids focused, confused but alert. The bubble fixed, 6 minutes to touchdown. Martinez sensed the jet descending, sensed the pressure swap in her ears, sensed every injury, every rescue, every ghost riding with her in this metal tube. The wheels touched ground. Emergency crews swarmed the instant the opening opened. Paramedics, nurses, docs, an entire trauma reply squad. Martinez coordinated the handoffs. Every case, every injury, every specific requirement, ensuring continuity of treatment, making certain nothing was missed. Her hobble was obvious right now. Rush wearing off, agony returning, the old injury making itself known. 3 winters of hiding. 3 winters of pretending she was less than she was. All of it stripped away in 90 minutes. Jackson was idling on the tarmac. His mug had transformed. The dismissal, the sympathy, the condescension, all of it vanished, replaced by something she hadn't spotted in 3 winters. Respect. I owe you an apology, we all do. Martinez kept walking, supervising the handoffs, making certain Davis got priority transport. Jackson followed her. I reviewed your documents after you went up. I had no clue. Guardian 9 you were legendary. The stuff you pulled off, the rescues you made. Why didn't you tell us? Martinez halted, spun, stared at him with stare that had spotted stuff he couldn't imagine. That individual died in a chopper wreck. Jackson shook his skull. Nah, she just quit believing in herself. He grabbed a breath, gathered himself. Our trauma section requires a boss. Somebody who can pull off the unthinkable. Somebody who's already proven they can. The board will approve it. I'll make certain of it. We require you. Martinez sensed the statement like a brick wall. The proposal, the recognition, the shot to stride back into the illumination, and all the ghosts that came with it.
I can't go back to that existence. Too many ghosts.
A tone from behind her. Weak, defiant. Lieutenant, you didn't rescue me, so I could watch you bail once more. Davis. Being loaded into an ambulance. White, bleeding, breathing, because she'd made the call to trust him, to instruct him, to believe he could pull off what seemed unthinkable. He grinned at her. That same grin from Helmand, from 100 unthinkable instants. Martinez stared at Jackson, at Davis, at the jet behind them with 8 Navy guys breathing, who shouldn't be, at Wilson approaching with something like worship in his stare, at the commander giving a single nod, a gesture of respect between soldiers. She didn't say yeah, but she didn't say nah. And for the first time in 3 winters, that sensed like sufficient. 3 days later, Martinez walked the medical center corridors, still hobbling, but altered right now. She passed the ER, spotted Jackson directing crew through a standard trauma, open fracture, nothing critical. He was handling it well, competently, but not exceptionally. He noticed her, halted mid-instruction, approached carefully, like somebody approaching something wild that might bolt. Have you thought about the proposal? Martinez halted. The hobble made her burden shift to her good leg. 3 winters of compensation, 3 winters of hiding behind that slight hitch in her stride. The hobble will never vanish. The guilt won't disappear. Williams will always be 19. The chopper will always wreck. Her leg will always remind her. But maybe that ain't the point. Maybe survival means carrying the burden and walking regardless. I got conditions. Jackson's eyebrows lifted. Name them. I instruct every trauma resident myself. Nobody goes into the zone unprepared. Jackson gave a nod. I want a satellite connection to military medical squads. When they require consultation, they get it. He gave a nod once more. And Davis. When he's cleared, I want him on my crew. Jackson reached out his mitt. Done. When can you begin? Martinez stared at his mitt, at the proposal it represented. At the entrance, she'd shut 3 winters back that was suddenly open once more. She shook it. I already have. 2 weeks later, Martinez stood in the trauma zone wearing scrubs and a trauma boss badge. First day, mass casualty situation. Multi-vehicle wreck on the highway. 12 incoming. Different phases of critical. The residents were swamped. Young, uncertain, glancing around for somebody to tell them what to pull off. They found her. Martinez didn't hesitate, didn't hide. The commands flowed naturally, like breathing, like muscle memory that had been idling 3 winters to be used once more. You, chest drain on the collapsed lung. You cross-match 4 units. You get me a portable ultrasound. Shift. They shifted. She hobbled between stretchers. The hitch in her stride visible, obvious, but right now it was altered. Not a weakness, not something to hide. A mark of experience. Survival. Proof she'd been through worse and come out the flip side. One resident muttered to another, "That's her, Guardian 9. Martinez overheard. Didn't flinch. Didn't spin away. For the first time in 3 winters, the call sign didn't sting. She shifted to the next case. Evaluated, sorted, rescued. The hobble followed her, but so did excellence. 6 months later, the simulation lab was packed. 20 residents, all gawking at Martinez, run a trauma scenario. High-fidelity dummies, simulated mass casualty, mayhem carefully constructed to instruct them what mayhem truly felt like. Davis was there. Certified trauma specialist right now. The opening in his chest healed to a scar. He assisted Martinez with the simulation, played the part of field medic, instructed the residents what it meant to work with limited resources and unlimited stakes. Wilson had transferred from the Air Force. Right now on her crew. He ran the technical side, made certain the simulations were as actual as doable, without actual crimson. Jackson observed from the observation platform. The medical center board stood with him, suits and chart holders, metrics and outcomes. One board member reviewed the info. Trauma survival is up 34% since she took over. Jackson grinned. Not the condescending grin from before. Something genuine. She's instructing an entire generation differently. Instructing them that unthinkable just means you haven't found the solution yet. Below, Martinez addressed the residents. Her tone carried through the intercoms. In the zone, in the sky, in mayhem, you don't freeze, you figure, you shift, you rescue them. The residents listened like scripture. Because she'd proven every statement. Later, after the simulation, Martinez reviewed x-rays in her office, standing at the light board, the hobble visible as she shifted her burden. As she shifted from one image to the next. But her reflection in the glass showed something else. Not the diminished ward nurse who'd hidden for 3 winters. Not the shattered veteran who'd let guilt consume her. Lieutenant Martinez, Guardian 9, whole once more. Not because the hobble was vanished, not because the guilt had disappeared. Not because Williams was any less gone, or the chopper wreck any less actual. But because she'd learned to carry it, all of it, and still shift forward. Davis knocked on the entrance frame. She spun. Commanders on the connection. Situation in Kenya. They require consultation on a zone amputation. Martinez grabbed the phone. This is Guardian 9. Talk to me. The statements came easily right now. The identity she'd stashed, the skills she'd hidden, the legacy she'd abandoned, all of it back. Not because the globe had altered, because she had. They told her to hang back. She instructed them to keep up. And in pulling that off, instructed herself the same lesson. That survival ain't about erasing. It's about recalling and picking to shift forward, regardless. One hobbling stride at a time,